of 22 or 25. The maximum you see that an employee will want to employ in the business area now will be the age of 29 maximum. And when you now go a little bit to the business, to the political era too, you begin to see youth, at least for now, most on social media, that are political supporters are youth. Okay. The older generation do not have the time to be campaigning online. And the older generation will not be the one to be driving their political buses up and down, amongst other areas like that. So it depends on the area you are coming from. And virtually all the area we are now, you see youths are doing fine there.
Mr. Yusuf.
Okay, for me, I would say the issue of youth taking over politics and all space of life in the country should not be the discussion for today. Because since our independence in 1960, and before our independence in 1960, we had many youths who have taken up the political affairs of this country. If you have a look at Tafawa Balewa, who was the first prime minister we have in the nation of Nigeria, it was in his early 40s when he took over the mantle of leadership in Nigeria. Then if you go down the lane, the longest serving military head of state, that is General Yakubu Gowon, was at the age of some said 29. And when I was doing my own, what I saw was at the age of 31 was the head of state, where after he took over the power from JTU, Agunyi, Erosi. So we could see that from time when Nigeria became Nigeria after independence, that we already had youths that have been partaking in the politics of Nigeria. So it shouldn't be the topic of today whether youths are in politics or youth are not in politics. Let us have a look at what happened also in Oyo State. The current speaker of Oyo State became the speaker at the age of 32. By this year, he should be 35. Or close to is 35, and also the son of the Fuji musician Yusuf, the son of Tayo Currency, also became a member in the house of in Oyo State House Assembly at the age of maybe 24 or 25, if I'm not mistaken. So the late Bankole also at the age of 37 happens to be the youngest speaker Nigeria has ever produced at the age of 37, and it goes on like that. Let us also look at the youngest senator in the current 9th assembly, Senator Elisha Abo from Adamawa State, at the age of 42, is in the Senate. So in every space that we are talking about in Nigeria, we have youths that are already there. So when we go to the economic aspect of our political space, if we are talking about those who are going to get employment at entry level, that is when we are going to be talking about the age limit. For those who are going to be spearing the affairs of any economy, they will never take someone at that age, because that person who don't have gotten that experience, he or she needs to steer the affairs of the economy. But for the entry level, that we want people that are agile, people that can work from 7 in the morning to 7 in the night. And those are the people that will be at the production level. But those who are going to be at the table, that are going to be making decisions that this is what we want, are those people who have had years of experience in any organization. That is why the minimum entry level now is the maximum is 29. If you want to be employed in any corporate organization for now, you must not exceed at 27, 28. 29, but in some instances they will take up 30. But for administrative role, they will never take someone at that age, unless if you have gathered that experience. Maybe you graduated from the university earlier and you have secured employment earlier. Then maybe in some 10 years you have gathered a lot of experience that are going to foster the unity and the progress of such organizations. They are going to appoint you at your early time. So when I'm talking about youth taking over politics in Nigeria, it shouldn't be today that the youth are now on social media and the like that, they are shouting that let the youth take over. The youths have already been taken over since we gained independence in Nigeria.
But how would the youth take over the country? How?
I said it, that the youth are already been taken over. It's not about the NSAS protest that happened a few years ago. It's not about now when Peter Obi came on social media that.
Well, I think we need to understand the question how, and from what he has said, it's a process. Okay. And from his analysis, we understand the process. The process is that you need to gather some experience. And gathering experience begins from when you have been in school. And like I used to say, a lot of people do not even understand the fact that they've been gathering experience right from their primary, secondary school ages. Experience begins from you not just going to school for going to school sake. A lot of students that have been taken on excursion program. In fact, at present, you see a lot of numbers of youth after their school, they go for training, up and down there. These are experiences we are talking about. It's not about that you just completing a particular course in school, then after that you are expected to be employed. The experience you have gathered between the process at which where you are going to school, at the same time learning one skill or the other, attending seminars, attending trainings up and down. These are experiences we are referring to. So it's not a matter of you waiting for that particular age before you say youth have gathered experience. And that is why I will begin to say that youth from that as well, youth that have been going to seminars at the age of 15, 16, 17 is gathering experience. At the same time, in school, at the same time, learning one skill or the other. Do you want to tell me such a person at the age of 25 is not experienced enough to read? Do you want to tell me that such a person is not experienced enough to decide? We have numbers of youths who are particularly into ICT today. They are strategists. What you see them delivering, what you see them deciding, an aged person will not do, no matter the kind of experience the person have. And that's why we begin to differentiate between the youth of then and the youth of now. The youth of then are analog youth, but the youth of now are computer. They are absolutely computer literate.
So let me come from here. If we are talking about gathering experiences at the level of the primary school, the secondary school, and the university stage, and if we are channeling that experience into politics, I think we might get it wrong. Because when we are talking about democracy in its real form, so experiences in democracy is not what we got in class. Politics is different from whatever.
Yeah, but you need to understand the fact that even in secondary school now, they contest election within themselves.
I know.
Yes, so that is where politics and governance starts. If at the secondary school level as at now, we are contesting to be class rep, I'm contesting to be class captain at secondary school.
Okay.
Fortunately, for some of us growing up, we are students of our indigenous association. We contested to be in one position or the other. We are struggles in student unionism. We are struggles in you can name it like that. So these are experiences we need in governance. You need in politics. If you are able to like strategize, okay, I want to win an election. I've gone to campaign across. While right in secondary school, I campaigned amongst my colleagues, among my peers. These are how it works. Just recently, we watched a particular school to debate, school campaign, where a particular student was that many people will believe that the student will even win the election. But when we begin to analyze their debate, because it was his own video that went viral first, so a lot of people were interested in his video. But when the other people realized that there's another student who has a better presentation than him, and this person that has a better presentation won the election.
Okay, let me come.
So that is how it works.
If you are talking about politics at the school level, yes, politics at the university level, they are very good kind of. It is a very good kind of politics. But at this part of Nigeria, when I'm talking about the south and the southeast, the kind of politics that we are better at the very tender and younger ages, are the politics at school, students union politics. Indigenous politics. After we graduate from the university, everything is out. We don't pursue that interest. If you look at most of the senators from the northern part of the country, from even the governors, go and check their history. Most of them are from the secondary school. That's from secondary school. After their secondary school, they started pursuing their political career, and they are not shouting that we must send these old people because they need their experiences, their political experience. Of how can a man If you see a man who has maintained his own house for 20 years, and we are going to say, kudos to you, because it's not easy to control a woman in the house. So for them to get that experience, they would align with that old set of people. If you have a look at Ganduje, the governor of Kano State, go and check the history of Ganduje. The Ganduje never started politics at a very high level. It started from the grassroots level. And in democracy, they will tell you that democracy will never be perfect until you go back to the grassroots. If the grassroots fails, there is nothing that will come to the top stage. So Ganduje started at the grassroots level, from chairman, local government chairman, to the state board, till he became the governor. Don't else forget that he was a junior to Kwankwaso, if not because of the political tussle that happened between them. So Ganduje started. Check Ahmed Lawan also. Ahmed Lawan has also been in politics for a very long year. The same thing with President Muhammadu Buhari, even as a military head of state. He was a governor before he turned to 40. He was a minister for petroleum before he turned to 40. So in this part of the world, I mean, when we're talking about Southwest and South, what we believe that we want to send these people away, that go, leave this arena for us, let us come, without that political experience we need in democracy to rule. Even if you go to the Western world, the way we want things to be run here is not the way they run it there. There are also other people at that space of political part in those world. You know, they bring them up, they join them. Joe Biden, who is the oldest president to have ever graced the presidential seat in America, was in the Senate as a very young person from age 30, and he continued. He never left until he became what he had desired to be. So when we are talking about youth taking over, it is not that we want to come out at once. We need the experience, and all of us cannot get it at once. We have to be pushing people there. And I've said that since our independence, youth have been ruling this country directly or indirectly. Look at the Kogi State governor. That's the youngest governor we have in Nigeria, and it's also a youth. And the fact that we have someone that is a youth at the end of our year doesn't mean that the country is going to be run perfectly. For example, country that practice constitutional monarchy, before the king dies, is going to appoint the person that's going to succeed him. For example, let us look at the case of Mohammed bin Salman in Saudi Arabia. He has become the crown prince in his early 30s. And some of the decisions that he has been making has not been good decisions for the people of Saudi Arabia and for the people in the whole of Middle East, and in extension to Muslims all over the world. Let us look at the case of Jamal Khashoggi.
Let him talk.
Don't let us begin to use a singular person to generalize the entire people. Because somebody do not gather experience does not really matter. I mean, because a particular person do not give us what is expected for us, do not really mean it has to be generally to applicable to everyone. Just like just even in Ondo State now. In Ondo State, we have a young king now who just graduated the secondary school age. I mean, secondary school education just few weeks ago. I mean, few days ago. And ever since he has become the king, nothing wrong has been happening about him. There has never been complaint of him not ruling very well. There has never been a complaint of it because he's at his tender age, he is misbehaving or the likes. So that somebody somewhere is not giving the result as expected does not mean we need to generalize that every youth are not ready to take up responsibility.
So now, if we are talking about experience, now if you said that experience doesn't matter. When we are talking about someone taking over,
I'm not saying experience does not matter. I'm saying that we have gathered experience over the long. At the same time, when you are in school or when you are going through any other,
and what I said is that
it does not really matter when you get a particular age. This is not school experience. We should be able to differentiate
academic experience, what governance means and what politics are.
Academic experience, you should understand the fact that academic experience is separate.
When you are watching I Disagree on OSBC television channel 32 UHF, topic of today is did youth have the capacity to take over the politics or to take over the governance in the country? Mr. Abdulaziz, you are talking. Yeah.
What I'm saying is we need to begin to understand. If you are talking, we are not really talking about politics alone now. We are talking about governance, and if you are talking of governance, you need to look into the business area, and that is why I started my discussion from youth in different area or structures of life. What rules have been doing in the entertainment industry, what they've been doing in the ICT industry. You won't see another person performing excellently in those areas, and that is why we now begin to look at, okay, if you are talking of experience does not really matter about age. It doesn't matter about age. A child of 15 years old can be performing wonderfully well than a man of 45. So we need to understand the differences between these things. And that is why I laid the example of you going to school. You are gathering the experience you are gathering in school. You are gathering academic experience. You are gathering governance experience. You are gathering social experience while in school. So you don't, because very few are more concentrating on the academics. Then you are not generalizing for those that have been gathering 3 different or 4 different experiences while in school. There are differences there. You don't because somebody is having a BSc in a particular discipline and not interested in politics, and now say because he's not interested in politics, then somebody like that being a youth is not ready for governor. What of the numbers? What of other numbers who are interested? Then we have also been saying it. A youth of nowadays should not take politics as a primary source of livelihood. So we are not saying that the youth should now be concentrated. We are saying that the youth should not be concentrating all their energy into politics. You are expected to contribute percentage of your energy into politics while you gather other means of livelihood. Now, putting all this together, we can begin to say, okay, even a youth of 15 years, you won't be surprised. Go out there, even at present now. A case of Osun State now, a case study of our state. We are looking at maybe the OSEC is going to conduct local government election. Go out there and see the numbers of youth that are contesting for one particular councillorship. You will hardly see a man of 40 years. So are you now saying that those ones just came up nowadays and then?
That is what I've been saying. If you take a look at that, the Osun State government want to conduct election at the grassroots level for councillorship. The majority of the people that have shown interest to contest are youth. Whereas this is not the first time that would happen. Honorable Oyemi Alima Abisola, who got married few months ago, was a councillor.
Appointed.
Appointed. Whether she was appointed or not, if she hadn't been in the All Progressive Congress as a party member to gather experience, who are going to appoint her? Would someone like that come for me? I was my father's house out eating and searching for daily bread, that I should come and take up the mantle of leadership. But because she herself has always been a party member and she has gathered experience for people who are older than her, that was why she was appointed. They couldn't come here to come and appoint someone. Because they need someone who have that political will and that political interest to be a politician before.
Let me come in this direction. We begin to appreciate some youth who are appointed in particular posts or the other. What if I tell you that most of these we see that are appointed in a particular post or the other initially were not their wish. They were appointed based on compensation to either their father or their mother, or they are somebody somewhere. Now, very few of them will now pick interest when they get there. Not all of them pick interest. We can begin to, just for the fact that we are on a media like this, we will begin to list the numbers of youths that have been appointed to political posts, but because they lack experience while in school, they could not continue after their completion of their appointment. We have numbers of them like that. But one will be happy that numbers of people like that were appointed into particular position. But what is their continuity after the expiration of that tenure. You see many of them, they are not there. So they needed some experience somewhere. They have not gathered the experience before they have been appointed. And that is why you be able to see that numbers that are not interested in continuing politics.
What you have just talked about is still what I've said it, and I'm going to say it again. If you are talking about people who are given appointments based on the influence of their father, we are going to commit a fallacy. If you come down here, you are going to see cases like that. But if you go to the core north, even all the northern part of the country, you see when these people are going for political meetings, they take along their eldest children. And because by the time they leave, they want them to take up the mantle from them. And if we take a look at all the children of politicians, senators, rep, governors who fought for tickets, either in APC or PDP, won against other people, because from their childhood these people had already started learning what politics entails. So politics is not about what I said earlier, that going gathering experience in classes or not. And for us to know that, let us have a look at the student organization of Nigeria, the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS. Are the people running NANS the way it should be? These are the people who align with politicians. They get cars, they get freebies, they get larges for their own personal wills. And these are the people that we want to continue ruling that student organization. If they can run that student organization personally, how are they going to do when they get to presidency?
Okay, for the sake of the time, how would you respond to this? How would the youth take over the dominance of politics? The politics is being dominated by the old people. How would youth take over the?
Well, presently, if you look at the trend, youth to a large extent are already taking over. But it's a process. We will not advise the youth to rush or jump the process. You get it now? So it's a process. Let us continue to maintain that process. Then one of the major factors I see youth are not getting right, so to say, is the financial strength or the financial well-being to sustain the process they are trying to take over. And that is the only thing that is left for us now. And that is why we'll continue to emphasize that youth should not, because they have interest in politics, now take politics as their primary responsibility. It should be a secondary thing. So when you pick it as a secondary thing, you use the opportunity to gather experience, like my brother has been saying. In fact, you gather experience, you follow them. We're not saying that you should not be following them, but don't just take it as a primary responsibility. We have numbers of youth nowadays that they are jobless. But they tell you, if you ask them what are they doing, they say they are into politics. Is it because you want to gather experience that you need to join politics? No, it shouldn't be. Shouldn't be. There are not other ways you can learn politics at the same time. You're doing something else, something better for means of livelihood. You cannot be following politicians because you want to gather experience and they be giving you 1,000, 2,000 naira. You won't even have a family. A family won't even be expecting 500 naira from you. And that's what politician gives to a jobless youth. That's what politicians give to a visionary youth. So not because you want to gather experience in politics, now begin I want to gather experience, I have to fully be involved in politics. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
Mr. Yusuf, the old did not want to leave the stage. How will you advise the old people?
The old want to leave the stage, but they want to replace the stage with their own children. And for them and for us as youth in Nigeria to stop that, we have to actively participate in politics. Many of the youths campaigning on social media, Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp and the like, the majority of them do not have a voter's card.
That was then, not now.
The majority of them do not have
the majority
voter's
was
card.
then, not
compared
now.
To where governance is coming from in Nigeria. You can compare the number of Hausa youths who have a permanent voter's card.
Southern youths also have permanent voters card now.
I'm talking about the ratio. So the old people.
Registration. You see, youth of South are also ready. We need to understand the fact
statistic that INEC got for the southern part. Can you compare it to what
the kind of statistics you bring?
Few days after from
population of the south, population of the south, you can't compare it to population of the north. So you need to appreciate the fact that even in the south, we have encouraging numbers. We have encouraging numbers in the south now. They apply for voters card. We have encouraging numbers.
That's encouraging number.
What we have
is something that a state in the north is going to work.
It depends on our population. It depends on our population in the south. You can't go beyond the population.
The only problem we have is that the younger ones are not ready to align with them in order to take over power from them.
You don't even take over power. See, many of us have understand the fact that you don't expect them to hand over.
That's what I'm saying. We are going to join a political party.
No, now you get it.
You become a party member. You attend meetings. It is when you attend meetings.
Have you tried to do your investigation and see if they have not been involved?
They are numbers already into
investigation. I have youth of numbers now that are into politics. They have a physical card, they have LP card, they are as many of them now.
If we take a look at the last congresses that were held across Nigeria, let's have a look. Who are the people that were there?
They were youth. No, you can't say that. Look at each political large numbers of people that participated.
Even the delegates
and youth, they are not the ones. And that's why you see some of the party.
Those people that were there, the delegates are older people. That's what I'm talking about.
Difficult for them to come because the youth are giving them more pressure than expected. The leaders, they know how to manage themselves, but the youth are involved already. The youth are ready to
this is how far we are able to go on this program this afternoon. Join me next week for another edition of the program. I thank you, my guests for coming, Mr. Yusuf and Mr. Abdulaziz. Thank you for staying with us. Goodbye.